Brad Holmes will be introduced later today. General Manager, Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. Expected to be a Zoom news conference later this week. He is available now after the Saints got bounced out of the playoffs. And it's an interesting hire, Gator, because here's the thing about Dan Campbell. There's nothing that's going to be tangible on a resume that gets him this hire, right? There's not going to be, well, the Saints tight ends had a 0.5% drop rate, and they graded out at over 80% in blocking. Like, it's none of that got him the job. What got him the job was his personality, his leadership skills, his attitude. Like, it's all intangibles. This is all intangibles that got him this job, right? And there's oftentimes guys are hailed that look what he's done with this and with that. And in Campbell's case, it just sounds like he got players to buy in. When he was in Miami, he really emphasized toughness. When he was in, when he was in New Orleans, he became the sounding board, the right-hand man to Sean Payton, and your other players at other positions. He coached tight ends, players at other positions saying they run through a brick wall for him. So these are all the strength of the resume is the intangibles, the unmeasurables that don't show up on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I mean, I read over the weekend they reprinted the article, the interview he had done with NFL.com from, I think it was the 2015 season when he was the interim coach of the Dolphins, and in the midst of that season. And you read that article, if you had questions about him, like, I don't know about this guy, you read that article and you get done with it and you're like, no, I like this guy a lot. I want to play for this guy. I mean, he seems like he absolutely wins over the room. I mean, the article says things like, if Bill Belichick is General Patton, then Dan Campbell's William Wallace, from Braveheart.
Wow.
Chris McClain, the linebacker, said, I would run through anything for Coach Campbell. A brick wall, a cement wall, anything.
That's a linebacker.
I mean, these guys, you're right, they loved him. Mike Pouncey, the center, loved him. They like what they did. It's the practices were more upbeat and they were fast paced, and there was no wasted energy, wasted time, and that's kind of things that you like to hear. And he ran it well, and he people were saying that every situation that he was put in, he acted with the right demeanor. If it called for him to blow up, he blew up. If it called for him to stay calm, he stayed calm. Whatever it was, he just seemed to get it right. And that was while he was actually a head coach, let alone what he's learned over the last 5 seasons standing next to Sean Payton, as the head coach of the Saints. I think the hire is a good hire. I think to take it over the top, got to find the right coordinators and the right guys who are going to be calling the plays, because I think this is exactly what we've been talking about, Doug, when it comes to the leader of men as opposed to an X's and O's guys. Great, we got that part. Now, who's going to run the offense and defense?
So, and the thing is, too, when he took over as interim coach in Miami, he brought back good on good. He had ones go against ones. They started doing the Oklahoma drill. If you are going to get tougher, and he talked, I listened to him talk about how he wants, as a coach, his team to compete on Wednesday and Thursday and even Friday in practice at the highest level. He does not want his team going through the motions. He wants the pedal down, and he wants them competing hard in practice. You better get people to buy in. Because if you are starting to ask more of your team and do things your way and instill toughness, and they're not buying in, next thing you know, you're holding a practice outdoors in late October in the snow to prepare your team for snow games later in the year, and the players are rolling their eyes, right? I mean, they didn't buy into Patricia. And Patricia, when you introduce this stuff that you're trying to instill character and toughness, if they're not following you, they turn on you. So, I mean, Dan Campbell, the challenge starts from day one to instill that attitude and get them to follow. Otherwise, you get scoffed at, your eyes get rolled. Look at this college stuff or whatever, even though he wasn't a college coach. I think of Beeline, though. Like, if your team doesn't buy in and you start doing things out of the box that they're not accustomed to, they scoff. So,
Well, I think an advantage he has over Matt Patricia coming in is that he played in the National Football League, and he played for a long time. Now, he wasn't one of the great tight ends in NFL history, but he was good enough where he lasted as long as he did, and he spent time with a number of different organizations and, parlayed that into a coaching career. And I think players, young players in particular, a message from a guy who played the game and played the game recently resonates more than it would from a guy who has just been, in the coaching ranks since he graduated college.